Brother Mumia is on the line now, y'all. Mumia?
Sophia?
Mumia?
Yeah, Mumia's on the line.
Okay, we got him hooked up. Say what's up to everybody, Mumia. Moo? We got a packed room in Harlem, Mumia.
Okay.
Demanding the...
I just wanted to
Go ahead.
thank everybody for coming out. And I really like to commend everyone for coming together and thinking about the Move women, these beautiful, remarkable revolutionary sisters who have been through hell and continue to go through it every day, and who are only in prison because they are Move members and they are followers of the Jesus John Africa, and they continue to resist the system. That's it, you know. And these women are usually reminded of something that a friend from the Bruder House told me, and I've never gotten it. And he had heard about Move and read on it and studied about it, and he came to a pretty remarkable observation. This is what he said. He said, those brothers and sisters are not just political prisoners. They're spiritual prisoners. They're spiritual prisoners because of what they believe in, because of their belief in the Jesus John Africa. If they had given up and sold out and fell away, they would have been free over a decade ago, many years ago. In fact, we know for a fact that if they had fallen off before, they would trust, they would never have gone to prison. This is not supposition, this is fact. This is something that we know because we've seen it before. But they are today only because they are Move members and believers in the teachings of John Africa. Not because of any wrong they have done, but because of something that's very right and very noble that they have done. They have been loyal to their teaching and loyal to their belief and loyal to John Africa's revolution. That is not a crime. That they should be applauded for that. They should be remembered for that. And they should be freed for that and not punished for that. Because they are unworthy of being punished for anything. And they've committed crime other than being loyal and trustworthy and honest and beautiful. So I commend all of them.
Pennsylvania State Correctional Institution, Illinois, just called Sunday
For coming together to remember the Move women and the sisters of the Move organization. I salute you. I applaud you. On the move. Long live John Africa. Thank you.
Long live John Africa. Got the grow the crowd going, Mumia. Love you, big head. We'll see you soon, all right? Love you.
I won't be long. Anyway, I just want to say, John Africa taught Move that an example is worth 1,000 words. So I don't believe in using a lot of words. First of all, I can surely say that the Move organization has our credentials. We have set an example a trusting example, a loyal, strong example. This government have come at us with every goddamn thing it has, from beatings to jailings to shootings to bombings, burning our people alive. They have come at us with everything, and yet here we stand. We have not backed down one bit. Our family sits in prison 40 years this August, and while nobody wants to be in prison, nobody just chooses to be in prison, if it comes to a decision of compromising what's right in order to leave a building called prison for another building labeled home, our family ain't going to do it. Move people ain't going to do it, because thanks to John Africa, we understand that in this system, as long as it exists, a street block ain't no different than a prison block. That school in Florida where those children and teachers were shot up, they wasn't in a quote unquote prison, but they wasn't safe. You can walk down the street, a street block, and get beat up by a cop, killed by a cop. So we need to stop hallucinating about the difference between a street block and a prison block. We have to be about the business of establishing the principle of freedom everywhere, everywhere. Because when you have the principle of freedom instilled in you, then there's no such thing as prison. There is no such thing as prison. So what I want to leave people with, what John Africa have taught Move and taught us to instill in anybody that we touch, is that there is nothing more important than life. And when you say life, you are talking about the principle of freedom, the principle instilled in every living being by the God of life. And we should never, ever, ever allow anybody, not to mention our crystallized enemy, our enemy, to convince us that we do not have the right, that we are not justified, that we are criminal, wrong, vicious, for fighting for, standing up for the principle of freedom, justice, equality. Who the hell has the right to take that from us? Nobody. Nobody. And we have to really get that principle ingrained in us. To even consider anything else is like considering it when somebody tells you that water is dry, that the sun is dark. Somebody say that kind of crazy stuff to you, you'd be like, get out of here, what are you talking about? But when those running this system convince people that they have to just take whatever this system is shoving down your throat, then that's just as crazy as accepting somebody telling you that water's dry. You know? So think right, think strong so that you can be strong. Trust your instincts. Trust yourself. And make the commitment to fight for what's right. I'm not talking about fighting for anybody in particular. I'm saying when you fight for what's right, that's universal. That's universal. There are no categories. If it's right, stand up for it, fight for it, no matter who it involves. And if it's wrong, fight against it as hard as you can, no matter who that's coming from. That is the principle the MOVE organization lives by, and that is why we are able to stand strong no matter what this system comes at us with. So I will close by saying, long live the MOVE 9, long live Mumia, Abu Jamal, Sundiata Kohli, Herman Bell, Dr. Matulu Shakur, John Lyman, Tom Manning, our brother Leonard Peltier, Brother Russell Maroon Schultz, all our freedom fighters. Long live the Zapatistas, the Puerto Rican Independistas, those indigenous grandmothers at Black Mountain in, I think it's Arizona, Long live Earth First, the Earth Liberation Front. Long live the Animal Liberation Front. That's right, long live those fighting for standing right. Long live all those that fight for the principle of freedom. Long live the spirit of resistance. Long live revolution. Long live John Africa, and down with this rotten ass system. On the move.
This is Delbert Africa calling up the bowels of Dallas. Oh, I can feel that energy on the move to everybody, all the revolutionaries that's in that audience. I really appreciate your presence. I can feel that energy and it's sparking the drive to keep on going in what we doing. The Move 9 appreciates everybody that has showed up and shown their support through all the years of this oppressive incarceration that we've been doing. And I want to thank all of y'all just for being there.
All right.
I'd like to really speak on one of the main things that this parole board has used to deny us parole, and that's that risk to the community. That's so ridiculous that we have been judged a risk to the community. It ain't MOVE that burnt down 4 square blocks and murdered 11 people. It is this system that is a risk to the communities all over the world. They have polluted water. They have fouled the earth. They have messed up the air, and they call us a risk to the community. And I want to tell everybody there, in your continued support of MOVE, please stress to that parole board the fact that you ain't going for this lie anymore. That you understand that this is a political incarceration, and it's designed to keep our old heads, that's what the Move 9 is now, from being out on the street and speaking the truth to the people, as John Africa has taught us to do. The purpose of John Africa's revolution is to show people how corrupt, rotten, and criminally enslaving this system is, and the continued incarceration of the Move 9 is bringing that fact to the forefront. And we want everybody out there, when you confront this system, tell them you know what they're doing. They ain't enslaving us legally. They are enslaving us wrongfully. Excuse me, they want to say that like they doing it legally, and that like the legal basic right to deny us parole. But you can't make a wrong right by saying it's legal. And everybody knows the examples like slavery was legal, damn sure wasn't right. Taking the Native Americans' land was legal, but it just sure enough ain't right. Everything they do wrongfully, they will try to make it right by saying it's legal. We ain't going for that lie, and we don't want none of you strong-ass people to go for that lie either. So we just saying, just stay on the move. No matter what you're into, stay on the move.
Hey, Del.
That's what we get.
They ain't going for the lie, Del. Listen to this. You gotta. Hey, Del, not.
Pennsylvania State Correctional Institution, Dallas. This call is subject to recording and monitoring.
Hey, Del, have you seen Maroon?
I just saw Maroon just the other day. They moved him on the block next to me, and it was like a meeting of old heads. I saw him when he was coming out of the chow hall, and we ran into each other and stood in the hall. And to show you how things go, we stood in the hallway for 10 minutes, talking to one another, and reminiscing about old days, and just having a communal meeting. And this is the kind of thing that they can't stop. Any other time they be done got us out the hall, shooing people away, and we stood out there for 10 minutes talking. He's doing okay. He's still getting used to being out in population after all the years of incarceration that they did to him, of isolation. And he's doing all right. We waiting on the weather to break so we can meet up in the yard.
Okay, I asked if both of his daughters are here too, showing support on this issue tonight.
All right, lovely, John. That's good.
Right.
That's good.
I mean, hey, Del, we have 2 different cable stations covering tonight's program.
That's a beautiful thing. I was just before getting on the phone, I was just telling a brother how this thing is spreading. By this thing, I mean this revolutionary spirit of understanding that this system has continually incarcerated political prisoners, not because of any so-called criminality, but because of their beliefs, because of the righteous stand that they've been making. And I was just telling a brother that the word is spreading. People ain't going
Tyree.
to lie.
Go ahead, Del.
I'm talking about people have banded together to bring the forefront of people like Maroon, Russell Schultz, his incarceration to the forefront. People are speaking out about Matula Shakur, David Gilbert, Mumia Jamal, Rucha McGee, Sean Locke, Thomas Lanning, and all the dozens and dozens of other political people that are being held just because of their beliefs. It ain't to protect the community. It ain't to
Pennsylvania State Correctional
Hold on.
Dallas. This call is subject to recording and monitoring.
Hey, Del, I got one of your comrades from USP Lompoc, when you was incarcerate them, who wants to say hi.
Del, what's up, man?
on the move.
On the move, Del. I was wondering when you and Maroon was going to get together, man. It's good to hear that y'all met, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They can't keep people from coming together one way or another.
That's right.
This is Tariq Haskins on the phone with you, Del.
Yeah, Del. Okay? You stand up and still, go ahead.
I was saying one of the first things that Maroon was telling me about was how he was bonding with my brother Michael Africa down in Greatersburg. And I was telling him about some of the people up here that we knew from back in the day. A lot of people don't know it, but Maroon and I were in the hole here at Dallas. That's where we first got together at Dallas. And we ended up spending 6 years down in this hole before the system sent both of us out at the same time to the federal system. And that's when I first met you out there, when they sent us to the federal system in, what was it, December 89?
That's right, down in Lompoc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They said Maroon to Leavenworth, me to Lompoc, And the system is amazing because I met you, Matula. I met amazing people out there, and it was eye-opening. The system thought to curtail the revolution, but they didn't do nothing but spread it.
That's
and
right.
It's the same thing with Matula.
That's right. Del, so Del, you know I'm out here working, Del. We out here working, brother. We're doing it. Okay?
And that's what needs to be done. This fool that's in the White House right now is helping us because every time he opens his mouth, he's making it plain that this system is not about helping people. It ain't about
That's right.
Like we always said, you don't have to be in the move to be on the move, and that's what's happening.
That's right, and I'm letting them know that if they listen to MOVE, they will live. MOVE has the right practices that enable the people to live. So if you listen to the other people, you're not going to survive.
Not at all. Not at all. This system has historically oppressed and corrupted people's lives. One thing John Africa has taught the MOVE organization is that the system is responsible for every complaint you got. I don't care if it's a headache, a ingrown toenail, whatever. The system is responsible for it. The system causes all these damn problems.
That's right.
They done messed up everything.
That's
and it's
right.
up to all the righteous people to expose these lies and fight against it. And that's what the MOVE is about, and that's what the MOVE 9 is about. Throughout this continued denial of parole, we have seen other inmates, prisoners, come back and forth 3 and 4 times, and yet the parole board wants to say we are a risk to the community. And we say, no, that's the lie. The system is a risk to the community. And we're going to keep on fighting. And I want to assure everybody in the audience that not one time have we wavered from our determination to expose this system for the lie it is. We ain't giving into it, and we don't want y'all to give into it.
That's
You know, stay on the move, whatever you do.
All the way from Chicago, Illinois, y'all. Y'all ready for the main event? Y'all ready for our keynote speaker, the Cub? The Panther Cub? Put your hands together for our brother, this black shining prince, the prince of the legacy. Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. on the road.
Right on, right on, right on, right on. Free them all. Free them all. Right on. Now, I don't know what Ramona Africa was talking about. I'm going to give her the E-wagon. I was just on the panel with her a few months back, and somebody had passed me a note to give me a hit to tell Ramona Africa the time was in. And the note got lost before it got to you. Because in all seriousness, it's these, not to sound cliches, but these war stories, we never take for granted that we have the opportunity to have those that not only survive, but they're still standing to lay this out. What happened to us, what's still going down, and then I talk about it in an abstract, disconnected type of way. So we can open no time limit on these testimonies that we got to provide. Because the deal is, our people in particular, we're not afforded the opportunity to have any Nuremberg hearings or something like, for those who are not familiar with it. These tribunals, the deal is you have these type of discussions when you get to a certain amount of power, or even acknowledging that there's a war being waged on us. One of the disadvantages of the African people in particular is that there's not an acknowledged war that has and continues to be waged on us. It's a war that's been going down on us under euphemisms, such as slavery, Jim Crow, redlining, police brutality, gentrification, so on and so forth. And we say on a number of occasions that it's embarrassing being oppressed. It is embarrassing being oppressed. So a lot of times we are complicit with going along with these euphemisms. We did one of the mantras at the Alcoholics Anonymous say the first step in addressing the problem is recognizing that we have a problem. And not recognizing in the way that the state comes to us and forces us into absolutes and say yes or no, this is good or bad. Not saying that our only option is to become a victim or a criminal, but that of being a fighting back victim. A fighting back victim. And we say everything is political. Words, terms, fashion, you name it. Everything is political. We cannot afford the luxury to wait till it's quote unquote politically correct to have these type of discussions. We cannot wait till February comes around, say Black History Month, because the deal is black people in particular are on the verge of becoming history. And we have to use these terms, words in, again, every outlet. Some people say I've been unfortunate, but I say, not since I've been fortunate to have my name mentioned in some of the same discussions, or venues, or panels, what have you. But they're the likes of Sekou Odinga, Mumia Jamal, Sunday Ade Cody, Michelle Sekou McGee, Move 9. Lynn Stewart, Dr. Batula Shakur, Imam Jamal Amin, the C numbers Illinois, the list goes on and on. And the deal is, as I say, everything is political, and we have a discussion about political prisoners. Some people say it's just about economics, but just right now, in Chicago, which is infamously referred to as Chirac, and some people have an issue with that term. We add on to the old saying which says God created Africans and America made niggas. We add on to that. We said the mayors and the machine manufactured Chirac. It's done by design, what's happening there. And Chirac is a microcosm of what's happening in Baltimore, what's happening in Cleveland, what's happening through the African diaspora. And when we pin the tails on the pigs, we know what created the situation in our community. And the way the state deals with the question of political prisoners, in fact, them not even acknowledging that they're political prisoners, but it's a strategic maneuver. A few days ago, Chicago was noted for having this historical amount of record-breaking amount of snow that hit. I think it was 13 inches, they said. But what was striking about that day, that 13 inches of snow, was you seen police saturated throughout our community, pulling people outside their cars, locking them down, so on and so forth. All the dope spots were shut down. No hustling was like put it a low. I mean, it was wiped out. And this was done in response. This was done in response to an individual by the name of Sherman Leggett, given a charge. They say he was downtown Chicago. They say he's supposed to shot a sergeant, Chicago Police Commander Barrow. All day, the propaganda machine, the media, they was running this down. You see in our community, we seen patrol cars, you know what I'm saying, flooding the neighborhoods. You seen police pulling young cats over, telling them ain't gonna be no hustle. They tell them ain't no drug selling happening today. Nothing, I mean, all the vices, the prostitution, all that was shut down. Then you see our community was blanketed. And what they say, the individual they say he supposed to have done this, again, Sherman Leggett, within a matter of minutes, if not even an hour, he was vamped on, locked up. Then, even with, it was a report, the video footage, when they brought him to the infamous Cook County Jail. When they were taking him later on, it should be noted that we haven't seen any front picture, we haven't seen his face after he was locked up. There was also propaganda simultaneously put out by this whole, giving a human dynamic to the Commander Barrow. We had cats who even involved in the street activity on the street. You seen like, you know, this emotional response. The state did a whole, they showed his children, his family. And in fact, it was the first time that we had ever seen the superintendent of Chicago Police, Eddie Jones, have tears come from his face. Now mind you, this is in Chirac, with children in particular getting laid down, murdered, all day, every day. You never seen the superintendent of Chicago Police cry. You didn't see him cry in response to Kanika Jenkins, a young girl who was found at Rosemont Hotel in the freezer, you know what I'm saying, which is further exposed by this whole thing with this body organ snatching that's happening in Chicago and one other places. He didn't cry then. You didn't see him cry when we hear about the testimonies of 17-year-old sisters in Cook County Jail who are forced to rinse out their sanitary napkins, reuse right now today. We didn't see Eddie Jones, we didn't see the superintendent of Chicago Police cry when on a day-to-day basis about the Department of Children and Family Services just kidnapping children from their families and kicked through the doors mostly. No response. But the first time they had seen this Negro, this criminal, the superintendent of police cry was in response to the commander of Chicago Police being murdered. And then to go further with this, there was footage of when they brought Sherman Leggett through the Cook County Jail. And they said there was some individuals inside they called a bullpen. This is the bullpen is where you have other prisoners awaiting to go to trial, go to court, so on and so forth, the detaining place. Now in this bullpen, a lot of nasty situations happen. Rape, murder, all this, they pack you in strategically, pack you inside this bullpen. And it's known what happens in there. Now, but this time, when they brought Sherman Leggett through, the one who's given this charge, and a lot of people say it's a trumped up charge, they brought him through, there were some other prisoners who were held captive, they clapped They cheered for the brother. They brought him through. Now all of a sudden, the videotape was subpoenaed. This videotape was sent to the individuals who were fighting other cases, unrelated cases, to the prosecutors. These individuals were deported, were transported outside of Cook County. All within a matter of days. This just happened. This just happened. I'm not talking about no 30 years ago, no 100 years ago. I'm not talking about Nazi Germany, Afghanistan. I'm talking right here in the U.S. This just happened. And this is strategically done. This is part of the ongoing breaking process. This sends a message to the psyche. Where you got cats who in the street who engage in the underground activity saying, man, that dude made it bad for us. Where people can relate and be sympathetic to other people's situation, to the same oppressors, the same occupying army that's getting down on us. So when we talk about this, the whole dynamic of political prisoners, it's a war tactic. We very clear, so we say ain't no war on drugs, ain't no war on guns, ain't no war on gangs, it's war on us, it's war on the people. And we must put this in context of every discussion. As opposed to using terms like somebody got locked up, we have to be consistent, no, they were kidnapped. As opposed to saying such has a bond. No, what is their ransom? And our first response cannot be when somebody got locked up, what did they do? You know what I'm saying? You don't hear these type of discussions, you're talking about other communities, other people, you know what I'm saying? Automatically always attacking the victims. The way that they deal with the political prisoner question, it's not by happenstance. We hear about these cases of continuance of parole denied of the Sunday Island Coders, the Linda Peltiers, the Move 9. It's not by happenstance that this government, though technically due to the organized, mobilized, as Minister of Confrontation Pam Africa talked about, the people put the heat on that stay at the back up of technically have Mumia on death row. Have we very clear, they still plan to take Mumia out. They still trying to take him out. This system, unlike what they have us engage in, does not deal in absolutes. They say, okay, well we don't kill them this way, we kill them this type of way then. They're very innovative and creative with their tactics. We must again, not look at this again, not in the conventional type of ways of saying, okay, this when they say war on us, wait for some state dynamic or state apparatus to come out and say, we did a study, we found out that they are political prisoners. Because when there was discussion about the United Nations doing arbitrary inspections throughout the prisons and throughout the concentration camps. Excuse me. I've been calling that too, so sometimes I'm kind of impacted. Throughout the concentration camps. Everybody else was cool with it. The United States said, no, it can't happen. And the question is, why they fight for this not to be exposed? Black Panther Party said that they love to perform their treachery in the dark. We must turn the lights on. Malcolm X said that America's democracy is an hypocrisy. It's a front, it's a facade of freedom. And it's a pro and it's a con. It's an Achilles heel that we got to expose and go at it. It's a tactic that allows a cockiness for Hillary Rodham Clinton, even during the tenure of her husband, William Jefferson Clinton, to go inside Robben Island and hold and say, this is a shame that this man, Nelson Mandela, was locked up 27 years. It allows a cockiness where where the U.S. under the Barack Obama administration can even ask Cuba, do they have political prisoners? The arrogance of it. You feel what I'm saying? When knowing they have the Russell Maroon Schultz and countless of others held captive in these concentration camps. So we got to come to grips with, again, this dynamic of this attack, this war that's being waged on us. We cannot be limited or confined by state definitions, and also our resistance cannot be defined a state apparatus. A lot of these organizations, a lot of ways the state tells us to resist, is given to us by the ruling class. They raise up individuals, they fund certain organizations, certain individuals, and say that's the way that you fight. That don't even go on the streets. Could you imagine the Crips telling the Bloods, this is your leadership, this is a great leader for you. They gonna question it. In our communities, in fact, I recall the case, one of the cases that they had given me in front of the judge, went to court, Michael P. Toomey. This is one of the most, it still remains one of the most politically connected judges in Cook County. I recall going up inside Cook County and asked the then lawyer, Robert Willis, I said, why are all those people there today? I thought we just going for a motion. He said, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, we going to trial. I said, you forgot to tell me. So I said, well, you gotta get it continuous or something. I said, man, you haven't had no discussion about this. So we get inside the courtroom. Now, this is the same Michael P. Toomey courtroom that they filmed the movie The Fugitive in. It's the same the same judge that gave Jeff Ford and now Chief Malik the state time. So dialectical materialism is a philosophical tool that we use. Basically, you look at context clues. You say, oh, this is some heavy shit we dealing with. So we get inside the courtroom. So the judge is talking to the lawyer about how we're going to proceed with the trial. So I said, hold on, excuse me. So I tell the lawyer, Mr. Willard, you want to say something? So the judge said, what's the problem? I said, this can't happen right now. So the judge goes into this whole thing. He said, Mr. Hampton, you come in here with your entourage. You think this and that, you know? So I said, listen, I just need a continuous. He said, how long? I said, 3 months. He said, you can't get it. I'm like, give me 3 weeks, anything. So I can just 3 minutes so I can get up out of here for a second. And then I decide from there what's going to happen. The judge tells me, this is the best lawyer that you could ever have. I said, oh, if I had any questions before, I'm clear now. I said, I'm clear now. I'm saying that to say, in our struggle, we in our movements, and we have to look at those who the state raises up, and look at those who the state strategically, it's not about happenstance. You can sell the snake oil so long where maybe they don't know about these political prisoner cases. Or maybe they don't know about such and such. They do not want us to know about those who really get down and fight in our own interests and fight, and it'll be laid out to us in a way that we can relate to. In fact, Minister U.E.P. Newton had said that we must distinguish a revolutionary from a hero. A hero engages in the action that you say, wow, that was a hell of an act, but the people can't emulate it. Yeah. These people that we're talking about, y'all, you can contact them, they're right here. In fact, I want to commend the sister that was brought on stage earlier. I just talked to on our radio program this past Wednesday. I talked to a young sister 10 years old and reached out to us. When you had these different individuals talking about movies and these revisions of history, they say they can't get in contact with us. Especially in this day of social media, we're not hard to find. We're not hard to find. So it's a concerted effort that they do not know about the struggles that we go through on a day-to-day basis. It's kind of like a tactic they use in India where they train the elephants. They say if the elephant sees the trainer step on a cup or something, and that elephant steps on the cup, they have to destroy that particular elephant. They say because if the word get back, this elephant will go back to the other elephant and say, hey man, this some bullshit. This little motherfucker ain't got no weight on us. It can become contagious. If the discussion starts happening, you start hearing the real deal war stories. I'm talking about those who go against all odds. And again, what the Sandinista said in Latin America, the will of the people is greater than the man's technology. It's contagious. It's contagious. And the deal is, I've been fortunate to not only hear about these war stories that are during the Black Power movement of the 60s, but even to engage in conversations and deal with people right now today. And we got to tie this in every discussion. We got to use brutal terms for brutal realities. I said this before, I'm gonna say it again, maybe redundant. We must up the ante, as opposed to gentrification, land grab, as opposed to correctional centers, concentration camps, as opposed to police brutality, police terrorism. And this got to be constant in our conversations, when we go out, the poetry sets, the hip hop, so on and so forth. I spoke about a number of different times, like even when they had the Dave Chappelle Block Party movie up here, people were showing me the paperwork saying, Chairman, you're not going to be able to get in. We had to take a cocky, a confident position. Kind of like, we say African people, we are the OVs, not the OGs. We are the original victims of terrorism. So we got to come in with a confidence. We say, ain't shit moving on our watch without us addressing the business. So when we got there, Kelsey said, no, Chairman, it's not going to happen, so on and so forth. When we got there, let's just say we addressed the business. We got there, and it wasn't in the script. We seized the time, we put out the cases of the New York 3, Mumia, Jamal, Sekou Oding, and the like. So we put this out. You know what I'm saying? Because the deal is, we're not going to get no gift throughout revolution. Anybody gonna come and say, okay, now this is your time to move, so on and so forth. We have to always have our ear to the ground. Always. This cat, he's the point person for this rapper, this cat, Waka Flocka. So his point man is Big D, one of his point men. So he tell me one time, he say, Chairman Fred, I see you be going backstage, talking to these rappers and shit, you know, he said, how you be dealing with all that? I say, well, the deal is, I'm not a goldfish dealing with pristine water. We have to be out there in the sewers. We have to deal with the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that's the reality. It's ideal that some of us come out to these events. We want to clinch fist salute to all those that came out today. But we have to turn the communities into classrooms. Real talk. We have to turn the communities into classroom. You know, and I'm not saying go out there and hit them like dogma or elitism, like speaking down to them, but putting our ear to the ground, feeling what's phenomenal. See what they into. And we don't see what points of unity we can win into, because we got to be forever cognizant that there's a difference between a war and a revolution. There's a difference. A war is when you have your two occupying armies where they suit up and they boot up and they get down, A revolution when you gain the minds and participation of the masses of the people. We've seen it in Africa, we've seen it in Vietnam. We've seen it throughout the world. We've seen it in Vietnam with American soldiers. They were losing ammunition. They didn't know if they were shooting at the bumblebees who was trained to come out of the bamboo sticks at a certain times. They were shooting at the Vietnamese people. Where the prostitutes in Vietnam said, we may not get on the front line on the battlefield with you, but we commit to taking an American soldier to bed at night, and let's just say he don't wake up in the morning. It's an atmosphere. We've seen it during the Black Power movement in the 60s, where contrary to what I was been told, that James Brown was forced to come out and say, I'm black and I'm proud. He had a whole totally different song playing at first. It was charismatic representatives of the Black Power movement, such as then known H.R. Brown, not only was he mad, Jamal, so you better go back in the studio with that garbage you're talking about. He came back out saying, I'm black and I'm proud. He couldn't have pulled, it was a climb, he couldn't have pulled that stunt he pulled in the Rocky movie, wearing the red, white, and blue drawers to live in America. It was a climate with scorched earth, spray painted around, when the Sada Shakur was on the land, the people were saying, Sada, you're welcome to come here. It was a climate. Whereas William Thoreau said in Civil Disobedience, the people was clear that in an unjust society, the only place for a just man, or paraphrase, a just man and a just woman was prison. How we view prison, how we view the concentration camp, that's important. It was a climb when the pigs chasing you, you had time to ask them, what did they do? Open them doors. It was a climb where youth were honored. My daddy locked up. Shit. Because they were clear, as opposed to being impacted by the state's propaganda to the point that we have children say, I ain't got no daddy, I don't know my mama and so on and so forth. We must understand the purpose of prisons, the purpose of political prisoners. It's part of the breaking process. We have to put it in correct context. And it's not just that dynamic of the police, it goes to the whole destroying evidence. It's strategic, the timing. Me and Carlos Africa was just rapping backstage, he was telling me, reiterating to me how the state has said, has strategically the timing after August 8th, 1978, to destroy any evidence would happen. And this is not just for the legal sense of the attack. The state, the political sense of it, to wipe it away from history, for that discussion not to happen. And the people must be armed with the confidence that whatever the lawyers and all that, they play their role. There are going to be legal differences, economic differences, so on and so forth, but politics rules today. In fact, the deal is like, even when Chairman Fred and Defense Captain Jamal Clark were assassinated, we stressed that term, assassinated. Some of y'all might have heard how we went up on the stage and had to correct one of these major Pied Pipers that's based up out of here. So if you got it, don't take it personally, but Slave Z, or Jay-Z, when he said he arrived the day Fred Hampton died, we corrected him. We corrected him. People say, oh, you're making a big deal, you should just be happy that he mentioned your father. No. He wouldn't say Elijah Cohen or his handlers just passed away in Nazi Germany. We say we very clear, we don't cut no corners about Chairman Fred and Defense Captain Jamal Clark who were assassinated. December 4, 1969. December 4, 1969, February 21st, 1965, May 13, 1985. These were some of our September 11 stories. And we had to up the ante. We had the victim of terrorism for our people. We had to put this in the correct context. And be, again, recognize everything is political. We had a campaign we had some years back, the African Anti-Terrorism Bill. We still pushing for that. This serves a number of different purposes, again, to put this in correct context. But I just want to say this on the countdown for time. Clinch fist salute for all those who still keeping their heads up, who just even talking about these attacks. That's right. In Abu Ghraib, Baghdad, when they showed the prisoners stripped naked, dogs getting released on them. We had to really seize the time to make this connection that this was nothing new to us, you know what I'm saying? Because in fact, Grainer, one of the guards who was in Abu Ghraib, Baghdad, was the same guard that worked in SCI Green when Mumia Jamal was held there. But when it happens in other places, people say, oh, this is a problem now. So we said, okay, so be it, let's seize the time. These attacks, we got, again, tie this in with make the connection that I'm beyond with the politics that crosses geographical, generational, and gender lines. You dig? And the way that they lock us up, the way they attack us, y'all, is strategic, it's political. You know, I think one of the things they in Abu Ghraib, they had asked some of the prisoners, why didn't you talk about this before? Because mind you, the prison guards, out of their cockiness, they the ones who released the photos. That's the arrogance. I'm not doing shit wrong. And a lot of the presidents said we did talk about this, but we reported to the people who were working for the same ones that were doing these atrocities to us. Then some other presidents said it was so embarrassing. We don't want to talk about it. It's so embarrassing. I think about, again, just when I was held captive, close to 9 years in those concentration camps, and some of the strategic moves that the state, when they had me on the circuit, when they moved us around, think about in TAMS, which is the Supermax, which the state bragged about. Their selling point was nobody leave up out of here standing up straight. They leave up out of there in a box or so mentally messed up the range. And I recall even when I was transferred from Infamous Stateville, and I recall even the struggles I was telling brothers on the gallery. I see they coming for TAMS, Supermax, and some of my fellow captains had given into the propaganda. Like, no, champ, you're not going there. That's for the gang leaders, and you have assault, so on and so forth. I say, man, you're not sipping that snake oil, are you? I said, I'm clear with what's happening with this. So then, it got to the point they were kidnapping different leadership from the camps, and they had done it in a way that other people were scared to even talk about it. You would hear people whispering like, man, we're such and such, man. The way their facial expression, you didn't know or something happened to him. He went to town. But they done it in a way that people were fearful to even talk about it. And this is no slight on them. These were people who were known get down cats. But the state had done it. This one of the tactics of imperialism is to hit us to the point that we don't speak about it, don't question it. It's a race arrogance. You know what I'm saying? Don't question nothing. I was in the yard, and then I was going to prison yard. Whenever I get the opportunity, a lot of times, most of the time, I was here in isolation. So sometimes I get a few days, I would get out, so okay. But I would always look at the gun tower. Like, even subconsciously, even right now when I come out, I look up, and I just look up to see who's up in that glass. It's subconscious. That's right. Yeah. That's right. Field Marshal George Jackson said, no man, paraphrase that, no man, no woman leaves their place unaffected.
Yes, sir.
And I got on Stateville Yard, and I noticed there was more guards in the gun tower than supposed to be. So when the lieutenant, or the captain, when he got his name, when he came out, he was telling Mr. Hampton, just go with us for a minute. So and said it to like with a low tone, so I said, well, I know what's happening, this is a kid. He said, no, don't make no big scene, Mr. Hampton, I said, no, I'm being kidnapped. And I read history. I said, I know how this shit go. I read how y'all done in Africa. This is a kidnapping. I know how this shit go. So I'm going through a whole thing about this is a kidnapping. And then they finally got me out. And again, one of their tactics is to do it in a way that how you don't talk about it. We have to talk about these attacks. We have to lay it out. We have to be upfront about it. So they transfer me. They're switching you up. So we get to this place, Graham. So we pull up Graham. The administration from Graham comes, I said, he can't come here at all, period. They said, no, this is part of the procedure. We have to, stop him here. Graham said, we don't want him here, period. He's not going to organize nothing here. He not coming in, period. So I tell one of the prison guards, listen, man, I told y'all, the streets want me. Send me So then they take me to another camp. So one of the guards who's driving, He said, yeah. He said, George Hampton. He said, George Hampton. He said, I remember you in Shawnee. He said, you was in cell such 72. He said, I'm one of the ones that urinated and pissed all over your photos, your mail, all of them. I said, yeah, I recall that. He said, well, this is going to be your last stop on what you call your tour. What we did was, we had references as a tour. When they were transferring me around, we would say, okay, I'm coming to your concentration camp next, we're on a tour. So he said, this is going to be your last stop on your tour. So we pull up, big warehouse. Pull up in the warehouse, it's pitch dark. So all of a sudden, they refer to the Orange Crush, the beat-down crew. They come up on the van, it's dark, so they get to hit the van with oak sticks, hollering and stuff. So I asked the guards, excuse me, you say you know me? He said, yes. You got my jacket? He said, I said, can we go past this part of the process, the scat tactic? He gets out the van, he say something to him, say, they put the sticks down, and they take me inside Tams. So as soon as you get in, get these different blocks. So take you up on the block, you strip naked, handcuffed, and shackles on your ankles. And you're turned around so they can check for scars and body marks and tattoos, so on and so forth. Then, strategically, the women guards will pop up, while they have you stripped naked and they turn you around. So, after that, for those who say slavery is over, who believe all the stuff about the Constitution, Constitution, which means if you knew said the Constitution ain't nothing but pagan poetry, you dig? And I add on to that, is the shit, you put some music behind it, it'd be a nice rap song, you know what I'm saying? That's what it'd be. But then they take you through these different tunnels. And when you go to these different tunnels, the deal is if any other prisoners look through the perforated steel doors, the holes there, if any other prisoners recognize you, they have to move you some other place. And this is reminiscent during what they call a seasoning period, when they kidnapped us from Africa. They just didn't bring us right to North America. They break you up from your tribes and family. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you see any potential organizer, separate it, shut it down. And so they would take me on different tunnels and to different galleries. And got to the point the shackles was cutting into my ankles, so the brothers were seeing through the hole, they was greeting me. So finally I'm giving them body language like, man, be cool, let me get in the cell for a minute, because these shackles tear my ankles off. And so I finally got placed on one gallery, and just so happened, I get on there, his brother downstairs from me, Mr. Tam Suamax. We had grew up together. Brian Smith. I think his ID number B-25552. Brian Smith. And they were set to do an execution on Anthony Porter. A couple of the white prisoners, particularly the Arab Association with the Arab Brotherhood, were the only ones getting their mail in. And so we asked them what's going on in the outside community. And they were set to do this execution of Anthony Porter, and we had organized a hunger strike. And I remember the guards coming to me and said, actually, how do we do this? You know what I'm saying? But we had organized this hunger strike. We would time the doors. I'm not going to go into all the details, because I'm real big on not going into too many details about our tactics. I have an issue with having talking about the Underground Railroad, telling all the secrets, because this shit's still going down. Yes, sir. So these tactics and shit, we still got to utilize. So I won't go into details on how we organized this hunger strike. And then finally, we got the word from the prisoners who get the mail in that they had backed off the execution date. But I'm saying that to go back to what I said in the beginning, my opening. I know not all, excuse me, there's one, we can't pack them all what the state does to us. But I've been subjected to the attack. We've been subjected to the attacks. And on one hand, you can hear these stories, just hear these attacks, and you wonder, man, shit, where's the defeatism at? However, let's put a comma at that, not a period with that. I've been fortunate to be in places where I didn't know where I was at. And then have the chuck hole, which is the slot in the door. I know we're going through flashbacks in this conversation, man. And you seeing a kite just pop up in there. You hearing over the gallery, prisoners saying, where's such and such at? You know, the people. You know what I'm saying? The updates, you know what I'm saying? Whether it be a meal or somebody saying, we contacted your people on the streets, we let them know where you at. So that outweighs the attacks. And it's a charge that is what Chairman Fred said. Chairman Fred said, even when I was down in Menard Penitentiary, I had put my ear to the ground, felt the beat of the people. Chairman Fred said, I'm high of the people. He said, I'm too proletarian, revolutionary, intoxicated to be astronomically intimidated. Too proletarian, revolutionary, intoxicated to be astronomically intimidated. Now what that means in plain layman terms, plain barbershop, pool hall words, too high of the people to be shook up.
Sir.
All due respect, y'all. We ain't got to suffice for no movies, y'all. It's some real deal war stories, goddammit, that we need to know about. That's inspiring. It's some real deal people, y'all, that's here, right here tonight. See the time, I mean, legends, living legends right here. Do not wait to become a safe subject to talk what's going on. When we say safe subject, talking about where in the 80s they were interviewed, they had placed Muhammad Ali on the front of the Wheaties box of cereal. And the representative of Wheaties said, that is phenomenal. But one question, why didn't you place Muhammad Ali on the Wheaties box before? And the representative of Wheaties said, we do it now because he's safe. Y'all, don't wait on this struggle to become safe. These individuals, these images, these people that we talking about, y'all, they ain't hard to find. Get the contacts, corresponds with them. They are held captive. They ain't capitulated, they ain't gave up. We say one prisoner, one contact. What that means is, at any given moment, everybody, your cousin, your auntie, the uncle, you say, oh, he ain't on shit, to be able to give us a status check, an update on some prospective political prisoner. That's right. When I say status check, whether they're alive or not, a lot of us take for granted, oh yeah, he locked up. No, did this here. Adolf Hitler, initial victims in the gas chambers was the ones who did not receive any mail. They studied that shit. They studied. Without the people, y'all, we dead. We all we got. Ain't no great white hope gonna come down and save us. Ain't no Manchurian candidate gonna come down and save us. You know what I'm saying? If y'all waiting on a motherfucker from Wakanda to come save y'all, it ain't happening. Real talk. It ain't happening. We are our best resource. We are our best resource. And we don't know it, they know it. That's why they lock them up the way they lock them up. That's why they give you these astronomical numbers for continuing to Sunday out of that code. It's a statement to us. It's not just to them. It's part of the breaking process. It's similar to the way during the era of chattel slavery, if a pregnant sister ran away, they just didn't go kill her, they brought her back. In front of the masses and slit her pregnant stomach open and stomped the fetus to death. It's the breaking process. This thing about political prisoners, it's not just about economics. It's a part of the ongoing war. It's a major part. We can't have no discussion about anything. We talking about this whole thing about reparations and everything. We say we have been ripped up for a lot of shit. We still been ripped up for a lot of shit. Gold, copper, oil, you name it. But the most valuable resource that we have been ripped up for is them bodies. We demand them back, y'all. I'm gonna close out, y'all. We start calling free them all. Pound to the people. Ori. Shout out, man. Real talk, man. Right on. Phenomenal event, brother. Right on.
My inspiration, brother. Remember when this brother Dave Chappelle's block party, he bum-rushed the stage and pushed the issue of our political prisoners. When Mos Def and the rest of them wouldn't push it, this brother came on stage and pushed the issue of the U.S.-held political prisoners. We getting ready to close this out. We're gonna be out, but again.